Do you want me to finish this story? Well, you see, my mother, the pretty red-haired woman in the White House with the red awning, was desperately in love with the old man. She was obsessed with him. You could see it right away. You could see it in her eyes. She was obsessed with him to the point that she couldn't stand to be without him, even for a second. And she would hunt him down from town to town, following postcards or the motel on the back of a matchbook, but never a phone number or an address or anything as simple as that. Because my mother was his secret, see. Oh, she hounded him for years, and he always tried to keep her at a distance because the closer these two separate lives, these two separate women, these two separate children drew together, the more nervous he became, the more filled with terror that one day these two lives would find out about each other and just devour him whole. That his secret would take him by the throat. Well, one day she did track him down. Just by a process of elimination, she dogged him down. And I still remember the day that she found that town. She was on fire. This is it. She just kept saying it. This is it. This is the place. And she was squeezing my hand so tight that I thought the bones in my fingers were going to break. Her whole body was trembling because she was terrified that she would run into him by accident in the streets because she knew that she was trespassing. She knew she was crossing this forbidden zone, and she couldn't help it. And we walked all day long through that stupid hick town. We went through every neighborhood, looked through every open window, looked at every dumb family, until finally we found him. And it was just exactly supper time, and they were sitting around the table and they were eating fried chicken. That is how close we were to the window. We could see what they were eating. We could hear the voices they were talking. We couldn't make out what they were saying, but we could see that they were talking. Eddie and his mother, you were talking. And then there was the old man just sitting there in silence, eating his fried chicken. The funny thing was, almost as soon as we had found him, he disappeared. I mean, God, she was only with him like 2 weeks before he vanished. And no one saw him after that. Ever. And my mother, she just turned herself inside out. And I couldn't understand it. She grieved him as though someone had died. And I remember she would just pull her arms and legs in and sit in this ball on the floor and just stare at it. And I couldn't understand it. Because I was feeling the exact opposite feeling. I was in love. I would come home after being at school, after being with Eddie, and I would be filled with this joy. And then there she would be, just standing in the middle of the kitchen, just staring at the sink. And her eyes looked like a funeral. And I couldn't understand it then. I didn't know what to say. I didn't even feel sorry for her. Because all I could think about was him. And all he could think about was me. Right, Eddie? And we couldn't think about anything else. We couldn't take a breath without thinking of each other. I mean, we couldn't eat if we weren't together. We couldn't sleep. We would get ill if we weren't together, violently ill, to the point that my mother took me to see the doctor, and Eddie's mother took him to see the same doctor, and that doctor had no idea what was wrong with us. He thought it was the flu or something. And Eddie's mother, she didn't have any idea what was wrong with him. But my mother knew exactly what was wrong with me. I mean, she knew it clear down to her bones. She recognized every sign, every symptom. And she begged me not to see him, but I wouldn't listen. And then she went to Eddie and she begged him not to see me, but he wouldn't listen. And then she went to Eddie's mother and begged her. And Eddie's mother blew her brains out. Right, Eddie? She blew her brains right out. So I don't forgive you.